Hello, everyone. In today's episode, I'm joined with Kamryn, and today, Cameron's going to be sharing about why she raises awareness for Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and a little bit about what she does. So, Kamryn, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I've never done something like this, so I'm really excited for today.
Yeah, because you said it's your first sort of podcast, and so it's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yes, I've never done anything like this before, but it's all about branching out and trying new things for me, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, yes, I think it's gonna be fun. Um, could you do a little introduction so anyone who's watching, listening knows a little bit about you?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Kamryn. I live in the United States in a state called North Carolina. I was 4 years old and my mother was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And as a child, I saw her in the hospital a lot and she was sick most of the time. So for me now, as a 14-year-old, I really want to raise awareness because there's a lot of cases in the United States, but a lot of people have no idea what it is. And so I'm starting in North Carolina and starting in the United States, but hopefully, once I'm older, I can spread awareness to the entire globe. That is my end goal, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like you decide to raise awareness because your mum has it as well. So
Yes.
I think that's good. That you do that because I imagine it's quite hard for her and to have it herself, and like now you spreading that awareness, doing everything you do. So I think that's great.
Thank you. And I also partner with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. And I was on a Zoom call with them, kind of like we are now. And they told me that, they loved that, I was younger because they usually have older patients that share their story. And you don't often hear the young people talk about it, but you also don't hear family members talk about it that much. You always hear from the patients themselves, but being a family member is also sort of a full-time job. You're always worried about that person. So I think me sharing, my side of things, especially growing up with her having it, I think is really cool.
Yeah, it is, and like it's kind of you learning about it as well, which is good because um it is hard to live with, but it is good that you choose to raise awareness of it because of course you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it, but you do it on your own accord. So I think that's
Yeah.
a big well done to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So how long have you been doing this raising awareness for Crohn's and ulcerative colitis?
So I started, well, I guess you could say my platform. I kind of started it when I was 9. Um, I don't know. I just really felt the urge to raise money. And in the United States, in North Carolina, we have Taking Steps walks that are funded through the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and the volunteer dollars. And so I really wanted to be a part of that. And one day when there is a cure, I can say that, I helped raise that money. I helped get there. And, eventually I'm hoping that is what's going to happen, is that we find a cure, because seeing someone so close to you go through it, it kind of messes with you a little bit. And I could not imagine having it myself. My mom has told me, and I've heard other people say, it's like having the flu 24/7. That's one of the things I've heard them say. And I could not imagine, because I had the flu about 2 to 3 weeks ago and it was absolutely brutal. So, I'm just doing everything I can.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like you learn more, I suppose, as well as the more you do it, and as well. Like I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2017, so I'm still learning. Like talking to different people and meet other
Mhm.
people about that's in their journeys, and it's good. Like a kind of a hobby, I suppose, for you as well. So to
Yes.
learn it.
You could say it that way. Yeah, it's kind of my part-time hobby, I'm always thinking of new ways to create fundraisers and all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, it's good, isn't it? Like I I like to do fundraising as well. Like I in the past I've here we got Crohn's and Colitis UK, so got quite a lot done for that. So quite probably one of the last ones I've done was probably a year or so ago, probably a few years ago at the start of the pandemic. I
Yeah.
did like a 2.6 challenge. So because we have like war kits for like Crohn's and Colitis.
Mhm.
And that year that wouldn't be able to do it because of the pandemic, and it was literally at the start of it, and so they came up with this 2.6 challenge where for I think 26 days you would do something involving those kind of numbers, like 2.6, like you could bounce on the trampoline for 26 minutes or go for a walk for 26 minutes. It didn't have to be like activities like that. Some people would just maybe stick on Netflix, watch for 26 minutes or something. But for me, I wanted to be like activities.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do one watching Netflix for 26 minutes when did it anyway. So I kind of on my platform I did like I showed people what I did every day, so it kind of
Yeah.
people know I was doing it. Not I weren't just not doing it. um,
Just
but
hiding behind closed
yeah,
doors and not
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, and then yeah, I raised quite a lot of money. I think more than I actually thought. Like it got to the target and
Mhm.
everything, so that was
Yeah.
that was good.
And when I've done fundraisers in the past, I always say, every little bit helps. But until I get that final number, I truly don't know how much I've raised. Because it's hard to keep up with it while people are still donating. So you just kind of have to like wait until the end, which is it's hard for me because I'm very impatient sometimes. Um, but it's worth it.
Yeah, 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 it's worth it. Like you're helping like the organization out, and like knowing that it goes to lots of different things, like the money you raise, and possibly not just one, depending, and like it goes for medications, treatment and stuff like that, which is good because um I think it's stuff you need. Not everyone is on treatment, but people that do have it, and it's needed to help their like pain levels and stuff.
Yeah, and my application was selected in the United States. We have this thing called Day on the Hill, and it's basically where each state has representatives that advocate for your state in our capital. And so I submitted an application through the CCFA and they accepted it, which means I get to go to Washington, D.C. and talk to my state's representatives about what I'm concerned about in IBD in my state in particular. This year it will be virtual, but I have seen this as like, if you get into this, it's so cool. My mom has been a couple times. And so for me being able to do it, I'm just so honored and so excited. And that is in April as well. So
Okay. Exciting times then. Like some good things coming up.
yes, I do.
Yeah, yeah. Like why like have you kind of learned like how hard it can be, and like the good things as well of having like I suppose Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, because it's not all bad, like as well as it.
No, it's not all bad. And I think that is one misconception is when I explain to people what it is, they only see the negatives and they only see the like stereotypical sayings like it's just a bathroom disease, things along those lines. And I have to explain to them, no, it's not all bad. And it's not all bad for me, seeing her go through that, it made me stronger. It made me realize that when you're healthy, you have to be thankful for it. You can't like be mad about being healthy when these people are struggling, and going through the day is just an accomplishment for them. And so when I saw her in remission, it made me happy, and when I saw her in and out of hospitals, it made me want to be stronger for her. And I do think that's shown to kids a lot, through their parents, as they teach them, and I think my mom has definitely taught me to be compassionate towards others, but also be there for them when they need it.
Yeah, I think that's good. Um, like, is your mum the only one in your family that has, like, is it Crohn's that your mum has, or is it ulcerative colitis?
She has ulcerative
Oh,
colitis, and they don't really know where it comes from, whether it's environmental effects or genetics, but her grandmother had stomach issues, and it was long enough ago that they didn't have the technology that they do now. So we possibly think she could have had Crohn's or colitis, and the genes could have gone down to her and she got it. But there is a lot of question because we have had stomach related issues in our family.
yeah, yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it? Because like every family's different, of course. And but there are some people that it does go in the family and stuff. Like in my family, people had like autoimmune like stomach issues as well. Like I'm the only one that has Crohn's. Like
Mhm.
but no one knows that hasn't got it like that. But it's I suppose it's easier if people have it as in a family. Like, although it may come across as mean, but
Yeah.
um,
But
but
you kind of
yeah,
know what to expect if a family member has it, um,
mm,
which is
yeah,
good if you get it yourself.
yeah, yeah. Like it is like from my experience, I didn't know of Crohn's and when I was diagnosed, I had to learn about it myself. So and having autism as well. So by speaking to other people who have autism, because I learned this, that so some people have gut problems that are autism as well, and like because we don't know the cure or like the reasons for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, we kind of we all have our little guess. Most people
Yeah.
do. We have our little guess. It's because of that and stuff, and because it's annoying that you don't know why. Like, what's the cause of it? And that really
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah. It seems, kind of aggravating sometimes because you're like, what is causing it? What could I have changed 10, 15, however many years ago? But yeah, really bizarre. I think it might take a while to find what caused it, but I definitely am very interested in knowing what causes it because, so many people have it, and it varies depending on which country. Different countries have different cases and different new cases each year, and it's very bizarre. But I would love to learn the specifics about that in particular.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I always have my like reasons, but everyone has different reasons. Like, is it like a treatment that you've been under in work, or like some food,
Mhm.
like you're right. Well, like when you said that people do think it's who are unaware of it, that think it's like just toilet condition and stuff because you may go toilet a bit more. And yeah, it's not, or like it's a diet thing. Like it's not that.
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, yeah, because some people maybe will have to have maybe we say healthy foods like vegetables, like carrots, like all them, and some people may not be able to have that really, and they might have chips and
Yeah.
like it's not all diet based. Like I don't know if I believe in like the healing. People do the healing, don't they? Um, but I understand why that they want to have some sort of forward momentum or something, but it's hard. Like it's hard to figure out what it is.
Yeah. And, I remember specific times when I was growing up that my mom, they always say, you don't look sick. I can say I know she looked sick because I live with her every day, but to outside people, she didn't look sick. And I remember it was a birthday of mine, and we went to Disney World, and she was at one of her sickest points. She was in a bad flare, and her, like, no medication would work. Surgeries were all the time. And we went to Disney, and there's a lot of walking in Disney World. And so she had one of those motorized scooters to help,
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know like exactly what they're called, but we went on a bus, and this lady leaned over to her kid, and she was like, don't use things if you don't need them. She was like, you don't need to take advantage of other people's things. And, I just sat there so frustrated because she didn't know that my mom was fighting for her life each and every day, and that it was hard for her to get through the day. And, there's been other incidences like that, which are very aggravating. And I wish I could get through to people because, of course, you can say, they may not look sick, it's an autoimmune disease. They may not look sick, but how many people are actually going to believe you when you say that?
Yeah. No one, because not many people, because they can't actually see it, because like, although it is invisible, like in your insides, and it's a shame we can't show people our insides. It'd be so much easier, isn't it? Like it's not the same, and like you can look it on the outside sometimes. I think, and people don't see that, and like it could be fatigue, which is quite known for Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. There's so many different things around it that people don't see, which is sad, and like some people don't want to hear it, so some people do. It's
There's a lot of people that are so closed-minded that they just don't want to learn anything other than what they think that is right. And I've met people like that. And they're, sometimes you just kind of have to walk away and say, maybe I can get through to them some other time, but you have to pick your battles and fights, I think, sometimes, because it's so hard to convey to people, because it's not just one thing. IBD branches off into so many things. There's the mental aspect. There is the physical aspects, the financial aspects. There's so many different parts of it that I want to explain to people, but I don't have 2 or 3 hours to sit down with everyone and explain, this full scale thing of IBD. So
yeah, it's very hard to explain, isn't it, to someone that doesn't know what it is, because like I've been in situations where, like for toilet situation, for example, I use a disabled toilet, and you get irritated by another person wanting to go outside, and that they have a wheelchair, and are not using one, and like people do kind of think that it is just a wheelchair that need uses for disabled toilet, and probably people probably do use it if they don't, or not disabled, or like the other toilets are full, but you understand where they're coming from. But it's just like knowing that it's invisible. Like I like when they put those things on the toilets, like not everything is like visible, and those kind of signs, because I think they kind of help for people to understand. And it's not a nice experience for people when they do experience stuff like that, because they don't know what to say. Like they feel like there's no point saying anything, because they still won't agree what you're gonna say. So just leave it.
Yeah, and I think the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, I don't know if this is in the UK or not, they have the restroom finder app. For people who have IBD, you can actually download it, and it will show you in your area where, organizations and small businesses have said that their restrooms are open and you can use them, because, me and my mom have been shopping or out walking around and, she's had to use the restroom, and we go into a shop or a store and there's, sorry, we can't let you go. And I've seen her practically beg them to let her go because, she's not like me where I can, hold it or something, when you need to go, you need to go, that's just kind of part of the deal. So, getting that to people as well. And I think a lot of people don't want to hear it because, like, oh, the bathroom, and like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. But I think it is something that needs to be talked about more than it is now.
Yeah, like I think that's a really good idea actually, like having like that, and like the thing where the ones that are available. I know there is an app where you can locate toilets. Pretty cool app.
Yeah.
You just locate the toilets. Oh look, there's a toilet over there, and stuff, and like I have like a card that I can use. Like I can't wait card and stuff, like, which should really be made legally. It's not like law, like it should, I think, be made law though. Like you show it to them and they let you through because they don't have to. So been in situations like that before.
Yeah, and it's just hard because you can't sit there and explain it to them because whoever you're talking to most likely does not care. They don't care. They don't know your background, so their job is their job. They don't really care why you're there, what you're doing. I've seen in some cases they just want to leave, like they don't even like their job, they just want to leave. So trying to do that, it can be much more difficult.
Yeah, it's like I think in the pandemic, especially for the people that do have like low compromised immune systems and have like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, it has been quite hard for people to actually go in and stuff. I think because of cases rising and they fear they have to go in because it's their job and because they have to earn money, and if they don't, they might fear losing it if they don't go
in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard times. Hard times.
Yeah. I think it was hard for everyone, and it kind of affected each person differently and each family differently. And in North Carolina, different school boards in different counties, they were like, should we go back to school in person? And for me, I kind of debated that when COVID was in its early stages because we were worried about it, and my mom, is one of those at-risk people for getting it. And so we were concerned at the start of it. And, my dad would come in from work and immediately go to take a shower, make sure that we stayed as safe as possible at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah. It's the best way to be, isn't it? Just be careful because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, unfortunately, we can't tell this future. I think good power, but
yeah.
We can't do that. But yeah, like what is like your kind of highlight, I suppose, so far, like with raising money? Like, do you have like one of your like most favorite things that you've done to raise money, or just like a all somehow?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I mentioned I started my platform when I was 9. I would do the little lemonade stands, but each year I do this big raffle. And last year I actually got multiple items to raffle off, not just the one big item, but I usually get a grill, like a nice grill, and then some jewelry, just a variation of things. I've had a bakery do it. I've had my cousin owns a boutique, so she has given us some things and jewelry and so many different things to raffle off. But those usually raise a lot of money, because who doesn't want a chance at one of those items? And so that's my biggest thing that I do each year.
Yeah, and is there a specific time you do it? Is it like the same time every year, or do you kind of mix that up?
I usually like to do it during the summer because I'm out of school. and I don't have to like worry about my schoolwork and trying to do this and make sure everyone gets their tickets and blah 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 blah. I just like to kind of have a chunk of time where I can do nothing but focus on the fundraiser. You know, with COVID, it's been a little more difficult. I've kind of skipped around a little bit around the year. And then this year, I actually have multiple things coming up over the spring and summer months. So I'm not sure when I'll do it, but that is one thing that I'm hoping to do as soon as possible.
Yeah, like I think it's good. Like it's a good idea to like raise money for like Crohn's and colitis, because every little bit, like you said before, like if someone just puts maybe not much in, it's fine. At least you're getting something from it.
Yeah, and that's what I try to convey to people, because if you ask people for money time after time after time, they're most likely not going to give you anything. So if you just say, you know, $1, $5, you know, it doesn't have to be $100. You know, I know some people do that, but you don't have to donate $100 each and every time. You know, $10 here, $5 there, it all amounts to the same goal. So I think that smaller pieces along the way may be better, and people maybe, you know, may give you money easier than if you were like, okay, I need a big donation now. So
Yeah, and like, do you have like a sort of time limit, like in the past, or when you've done it, for like how long you're going to do it for?
so I like to do it for about, depending, a month to a month and a half, just because people's paydays are different, and you know, they're more likely to give you money after they're paid. And I like to do it before the Crohn's and Colitis walks in North Carolina. So I usually like to do it as soon as possible and have a big chunk of time so I can raise as much money as possible before the walk. But you know, it just kind of changes depending on the year, depending what I have going on that month or year.
Yeah, hopefully this summer is good weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We like to say here in North Carolina that you can experience all 4 seasons in a day. You know, you get the cold winters at night, you get the spring in the morning, you get summer, you know, for most of the day while the sun is up, and then you get fall before it goes back into winter. You know, we kind of have all of those temperatures. So I'm hoping the spring is pretty warm, because I hate the cold. I don't know, it's just me. I love the snow, but you know, only every once in a while. I can't deal with it, you know, for months at a time like some people can.
Yeah. What is your favorite season then, like out of all the seasons?
Yeah, mine is fall. My birthday is in September, so it's kind of in fall as well. But it's the right mix to where it's not like the blaring hot sun of summer in like June and July, but it's not the freezing cold winters in December and January. It's kind of that perfect time. And then, you know, I'm not a fan of spring because of all the pollen. This morning I stepped out of the house and the first thing I did was sneeze. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just covering the roads and the cars, and so bad.
Yeah. I was a bit annoyed it was spring, because I wanted to have a picture of a sunflower. I was thinking I have doing like a video or something with like a sunflower. And then I noticed there's none here yet. And so I got a bit. I mean, I've got to wait, or I'll get a green screen or something. But I'd rather do it in person, because there's a nice place near where I live where there will be loads of sunflowers around. So I think it's not even. Yeah, it's not yet, but summer's nice, but it is when it's nice weather. Like I think last year was not like summer at all over here. it wasn't. And the spring was more like summer. That kind of made me think, oh, well, why the sunflowers not out?
Yeah, it's been weird this week. I believe it was like 70 on Friday, and then it was like 50 the next day and 50 on yesterday, and then it's like back in the 60s today. I'm like, can we just like have a constant rate? I can't deal with this changing outfits, one day you can wear shorts, the next day you wear jeans, so
Yeah. I remember you said your birthday's in September. Um,
yeah.
Mine's in September as well. So I'm curious, when is it in September?
My birthday is September 28th.
Okay.
And I was actually born really premature. I was actually supposed to be born beginning of November, and I was born end of September. So I always think that's kind of funny story to tell someone that, I wasn't actually supposed to be born in September or October, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I love my birthday. The day before my birthday, the 27th, is actually my great grandmother's birthday, and on my mom's side, and then my great great grandfather's birthday on my dad's side. So a lot of birthdays right there at the same time.
Yeah, like, a lot of birthdays, and
Yes.
like I'm on the 12th of September, so I always think when it's September it's nearly Christmas because it's only a few months.
Yeah.
It's my birthday, it's nearly the end of the year now.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I was kind of thinking my sister's birthday is in the springtime. And so I was like, she gets an even amount of time between her birthday and Christmas. And then me, I have to wait like almost an entire year to get birthday presents, and then just like a couple months until Christmas. I was like, it's not fair.
no, no, like it isn't, and like I was born. Yeah, I was born. I wasn't supposed to be born. Then like you, I think I was supposed to be born earlier. Like I was predicted for the 11th, but then it come on the 12th. So some people weren't happy about that because they wanted me on the 11th. But yeah, what do we know? We can't choose when we're born.
Yeah. I love my birthday though. And it's in my favorite season, so I can't complain too much.
No, no, it's just kind of. I think summer runs till end of September anyway. I think so. It's kind
Yeah.
of summer still.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I think it's mid-September that
Yeah,
it's
I
weird.
think so. It is weird. It probably changes every year. I reckon.
I
But
wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, yeah. I don't mind when it's my birthday, but in it, you kind of think you look forward to it, like when it is your birthday,
Yeah.
and then you think, oh, I'm a year older now, aren't I?
Yeah. You go through all of the stages. And I'm a competitive dancer, and I was at my dance studio this past week. And I was like, yeah, technically I can start driving, anytime I want to. And they were like, oh, please don't tell us that. That makes us feel so old. And I was like, sorry, like I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, driving's good. It is, and like I was doing my lessons. I was like starting before the pandemic. I was getting ready to do my test, and I didn't do the theory. I didn't do the theory because I wanted to be 100% ready for my test. So first, like the driving part, and I kind of was, and then uh, COVID hit, and then I haven't done it since. So, but I I don't want to do my theory because you only have a certain time in it. I think it's a couple of years, and if I did it, then I'd probably have to take it again because I haven't done my test. And nowadays, it takes. I think because of COVID and lots of people being having to book in lots of time in advance, you have to do that, and then you're waiting in a year for your test. So it is
yeah,
hard.
yeah, everywhere you go to get like into driver's ed, it's at least a month out or 2 months out. I'm like,
Mm.
there's so many people, like there's so many people that have to do it now because they could have done it the past 2 years, but technically they couldn't because of COVID.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I was talking to my friend and I was like, I've never had normal middle school experience because COVID hit the end of 6th grade for me, and then pretty much all of 7th grade was virtual, and if it was in person, we had to wear masks. And then most of 8th grade has been in person with masks. It's only been about 2 months that we haven't had to wear masks, but it's, I haven't had a full year of, I guess you should say normalcy, but and my sister, she's never had a normal middle or elementary school experience. Because when she was in kindergarten, middle of COVID, they had to wear masks all the time. And so she, her being in 1st grade now, this is the first time she's going to school without a mask and, seeing her friends' faces. And I was excited for her, and she was thrilled to, finally see people's smiles.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like you have like it is hard because you don't see anyone for a while. Like I don't see many of my friends. Well, I do time to time, but not as much as before the pandemic and
Yeah.
stuff, because it's hard. Like if you have friends that haven't got the same condition as you, so like they know I have Crohn's, but they probably know of it more because of me, but probably don't know how it affects you physically and stuff like that. And like people will say they understand, like probably with your mum, like as well, and like
Yeah.
they understand her, but like really the only person that deep down understands is kind of yourself when you learn about yourself. And then it would be nice, although like I think they do those pregnancy things, so I think males can have a go and see what it feels like, and it would be nice if they could do that with maybe like a chronic condition, like just to for a few seconds, which, well, it wouldn't be nice, but it would just get another person who doesn't have them themselves to kind of feel like what it is for a person that has Crohn's or ulcerative colitis or something.
Yeah, and then I think, those like pregnancy simulator things, I've heard, from people who have actually had a kid, they're not exactly right because, the person who developed them probably has never had a kid or gone through that, but at least it gives them more of an idea. And I think that would be a great idea for this. I don't know exactly how you do it, but that's what, scientists and engineers and all those people are for, to figure out all that. But, along with the people not understanding you thing, we've had people tell my mom, at least it's not cancer. They've told her that. And, yeah, she's like, yeah, it isn't cancer, but I'm at an increased risk for colon cancer. Like, there's so many things that people don't understand. And I truly think they're trying to say it in a nice, uplifting way, but it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as either you know it all or you just don't understand anything about it. But some of the things that people will say straight to her face are very surprising and very rude. Like, I would never say something like that about someone, even if I knew they had a chronic condition like IBD. You just don't say things like that sometimes.
No, although like you say, they're probably saying it in a nice way from their mind, but like cancer is not nice. Like I've had family members that have had it, and so it's not a good experience for them. But some people can get cured with cancer with the treatment they have. And like for me, for example, I actually take medication for my Crohn's that cancer patients take. So I kind of, in the ways that you don't have cancer, but you can develop it possibly if you
Yeah.
have Crohn's and stuff. So it's not a very wise thing to say, but the plus side of cancer, although there are good and bad things, like every illness and stuff, that there are treatments that you can have, like radiotherapy and stuff like that, that you can actually, and there is a chance that you could get cured of it and stuff. And with Crohn's, unfortunately, we have to take medication, or also colitis to take medication, have different treatments and stuff, that there is going to be no cure. So they haven't found that yet. But give it time. Hopefully in our lifetimes, maybe.
Hopefully. The
Hopefully.
technology is getting so much better. So hopefully they can figure out a way to, find out what's causing it. And then maybe if they find out what is causing it, they can figure out a cure for it. But hopefully.
Yeah. Who knows? We might have flying cars in 20 years.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah, I think there was something about like a system where they, in the future, that they'll make where you can actually have a teleport, like you're somewhere else, but you're not actually there. Like you're actually talking. It feels like you're in the same room. So stuff like that. So who knows? Like there's been cures for other things.
Yeah, there has.
Like
and it's been a lot more, like as the technology progresses, you see more and more treatments and cures coming out. So hopefully that's what will happen here. But yeah, I've been approached by people, and like once I explain it to them, they've asked, well, why do they have such a hard time with medication, and why are they so frustrated with like insurance companies? And I tell them, once you have to take a medication for a certain amount of time for your insurance to cover it. Here in North Carolina, I don't know about.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I think it just froze for a second. But yeah, do you want to continue what you were saying?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that, people don't realize that, people fail medications, and then it makes them so frustrated. Hello?
Hello? I think it just froze again. I think I heard what you was kind of say, like people get frustrated and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like who knows, like we hope for a cure one day. Like remission is kind of a little bit of a cure. Like when you depends what kind of remission you have. Some people have it a long time, some people don't. Like like having remission myself, like it kind of feels in a way that you don't have any pain, but you still have physical symptoms like fatigue and stuff like that, feeling really tired and stuff. So like there's a long way to go though.
Yeah, and with my mom, right now she's in, one of those long remission time period things. But I have seen her, in the past when she has a shorter time of remission, she feels slightly better. She still does have that fatigue. And one thing that's been really hard for her is she has really bad joint pain with her colitis. That's one of, her biggest things, is like her hands or her knees, and her joints hurt really bad.
Yeah, I think I get that as well. Like I've always had kind of joint pains myself, so I understand like that, because it's not nice. Like you always, like for me, I always get this eager to do clip them or something like that, but I know you shouldn't. But I think everyone does, to be fair. Like has that kind of feeling, but but yeah, it is hard. Like affect you anywhere. Like if you're going out for a walk, it could be joints could be really achy. Have to sit down and but yeah, there's so much you could talk about with all this.
Yes, there's so many, like, I like to think of it as a tree, because they go off in so many different directions, and you can talk about so many different things. And I actually did a presentation for one of my friends. She was holding this self-care summit thing, and I pretty much made a presentation and showed it to an audience. But it took me so long because I had it divided into these, 6 or 7 slides. But within those slides, you can divide that thing even deeper, which is really cool. But, when you have to explain it broader to people and then you say something and they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, I couldn't put every single thing on the presentation, like statistics. I would love to put every single statistic I could find, but then that would make me sound like I'm just depending on the statistics and not what people are saying. So you need a good mix, but sometimes it's just hard to teach people when there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, there's so much you can cover. It's not just one certain thing. But that's why there's a good community out there, because you can talk about all different things about it, and you don't have, you can choose. Like, one day maybe speak about like how it affects your joints, another day how it affects your gut, your insides and stuff. So there are probably thousands of ways we could talk about all the sorts of what effects, like mentally can affect as well. So
Yeah. And one thing that I love to say to people, because it gets through to them, of course I explain it afterwards, but there was a study done in November of 2021, so pretty recently, that said that IBD patients have a 40% higher chance of developing PTSD than veterans. And, I have to explain to people, I'm not trying to offend people, because I know that veterans, I can't imagine what they see. But the number does not surprise me, because of the failed medications, them feeling lost, feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no other options, because, I know my mom was like that after repeated failed medications and biologics. She finally was at the point, like, what do we do next? Like, I don't even know where to go anymore. So, that is one thing I like to tell people. And I do explain it just because of what it's about, but they seem to, it hits home sometimes, and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know this before.
yeah, like like we have, I think it's good that you have these studies, so it kind of raises that awareness of a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, although it affects lots of people, like you say, like the older people, but the younger people can get affected as well. And like, it is known, I think people do get diagnosed. I would have thought people can get diagnosed at any age with IBD, but getting diagnosed younger, that's about. There's always going to be the good things and the bad things, like we said before. Like, when you get diagnosed with something, because it could be like you're diagnosed younger, or some people have always known that they've had it, they haven't known had a life without IBD. So it's kind of hard. Like, you always think, what would it happen if I didn't have this, or it was further down the line. But it's I think you always get to think that, like, for anyone, any kind of illness that someone has.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Kamryn, but like, before we go, because I think we've sort of that really good things, and like your kind of first podcast. So I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is there any more, like, you want to say to finish up, like, any advice that you would give to anyone else, like, from what you do?
So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. My thing is to just go for it. Sometimes, I think of creative ways to do fundraisers or advocate, but I get really nervous for it. And for me, lately I've had to learn, you have to take that step out of the box, and because I like to stay in my comfort zone. But, like I was talking about that self-care summit, doing that, I was so nervous. I was excited, but, I kept thinking, oh, well, what are people going to think about it? And you just have to do it. You can't have people's thoughts in your head while you're trying to do something that is right for you. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's great, because you've got to always do what's right for you, and what's best for you. like I think that's some really good advice. But Kamryn, we spoke about lots. Like could you tell where, like, if anyone's listening or wants to like contact you or anything? Do you want to say where people can like find you?
Yes, so on Instagram, it's at Miss Metrolina OT_NC. And then on Facebook, it's Miss Metrolina's Outstanding Team 2022 Kamryn Hollowell, my name.
Okay. Well, like everyone listening, you know where to find Kamryn and see all the wonderful she does to raise awareness for IBD. So thanks, Kamryn. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having me. I've had so much fun.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, now you can say that you've been on a podcast for the first time.
I know.
Yeah.
Checking things off my bucket list.
Yeah, but that's one tick. Yeah. Well, thanks, Kamryn.
Thank you.